So here's a video to demonstrate how to use the TI-84 Plus Silver Edition graphing calculator to calculate measures of center. Here is example 2 from section 3.1. The number of students enrolled in all LSUE Math 0021 courses for the fall semester are listed below. There are 8 different Math 0021 courses. One course contains 6 students. Another one contains 19 students, 25 students, 21 students, 19 students, 6 students, 22 students, and 28 students. Does this data set represent a sample or a population? Well, since all the LSUE Math 0021 courses, the number of students in all of them are listed, it represents a population. If I would have randomly selected 3 courses, then that would have been a sample. But the keyword all here lets us know that it is a population. So the data set represents a population since it lists all the Math 0021 courses offered during the fall semester at LSU Eunice. What is the mean number of students in a Math 0021 course for the fall semester? Well, remember, mean, the way we calculate that is we add up all the values in the data set and divide by the total number of values in that data set. So here, since the data set is a population, we would calculate the population mean, which we use the notation mu when we're dealing with a population mean. We would simply add up all the values, so 6 plus 19 and so on, all the way up to 22 plus 28. We would get that sum, which is 146. And divide by the total number of data values, which is 8. So the mean number of students in a Math 0021 course for the fall semester, you end up with 18.25. So the mean number of students, rounding to 1 decimal place, is 18.3 students. And remember, our rounding rules for mean is you keep 1 decimal place past the data. So our data is to the nearest whole number, so you would keep 1 decimal place. What is the median of the data set? Well, to find the median, first remember you must order the data. So I ordered the data from smallest to largest, starting at 6, 6, 19, 19, 21, 22, 25, 28. To find the median by hand, since there is an even number of data values, the median is the average or the mean of the 2 middlemost data values. Well, since we have 8, the 2 middlemost data values are these 2 numbers here, 19 and 21. Notice, if we average 19 and 21, we're looking for the value in the middle of these 2, so that would be 20. So the median is 20 students. Notice, when our data is in order, 20 falls right here. We have 4 values below that number 20, and we have 4 values above that number 20. The median divides your data set in half, where you have 50% below this number and 50% above that number. What is the mid-range? Well, remember, to calculate mid-range, we take the maximum value plus the minimum value and divide by 2. So our maximum data value is 28 students in a class plus 6 students in a class. So that's a sum of 34. Simply divide that by 2, and the mid-range is 17. Find the mode of the data set. Well, it's always helpful when you're finding the mode to list your data values in order. I did that up here with the median, so we're going to go ahead and look at that. And remember, the mode is simply the values that occur the most, or with the same greatest frequency. Well, here you have 2 classes with 6 students. Here you have 2 classes with 19 students. And then from there on, each value occurs only exactly one time. So the 6 occurs twice, the 19 occurs twice. So since those 2 values occur with the same greatest frequency, they both occur 2 times, it's bimodal, meaning it has 2 modes. Both 6 and 19 are modes of the data set. So it is bimodal, 6 and 19. So computing these by hand doesn't take that much work, but since we have the TI graphing calculator, why not use it? So press the Stat button, enter your values into a list. So press Enter to open up the Edit menu. And notice from a previous example, my list 1 has data values listed. So I'm going to go ahead and go into the top and highlight the name of the list, which is list 1, and I'm going to go ahead and clear it out. You can press Enter or press the down arrow, and the list will clear. I'm going to go ahead and enter my data values, 6, 19. So for time's sake, I went ahead and entered them all in. My data values are listed here. Notice here this says L19. So this here is the 9th data value, which is blank. So if you scroll up one, this is the 8th data value. It should match the total number of data values in your data set, which we have 8. So I'm going to go ahead and remind you, if you press the Stat button, to sort your data, you press the down arrow to highlight 2. Sort Ascend is what that means. You press Enter, and we entered our data into list 1, so press second and the number 1. Press Enter. It's going to say done. If you go back to the Stat button, press Enter to open your Edit menu. It's going to sort your values from smallest to largest. This is really helpful when you're finding the mode. You can see that 6 occurs twice, 19 occurs twice, and then all the other values occur only once. So your mode is 6 and 19. So to calculate measures of center, you press the Stat button, select the right arrow to highlight Calculate, and the very first option is one variable statistics. So either press Enter or the number 1 to open this command, and you're going to see list. Well, you have to enter the correct list here, so I have one listed, but I'm going to go ahead and clear it out. And I press second, whatever list you use. So if you use list 1, you press 1. If you use list 2, you press 2, and so on. Leave frequency list blank, and then go down to Calculate and press Enter. And so notice our average, or X bar, our mean is 18.25, which is the same value we calculated by hand, or 18.3 rounding to 1 decimal place. This is always going to say X bar because the calculator does not know if you entered a sample or a population. In this case, we are dealing with a population, so the correct notation for the mean is actually mu, not X bar, which will be really important when we get to the next section to know about notation. There's the minimum data value. We'll talk about Q1 later on. Here's your median. We found that earlier by hand is 20. Q3 we'll talk about later as well. And then your maximum data value is 28. You can use this minimum and maximum to help you find the mid-range of the data set.